Architectural Builder Supply is pleased to present you with this recording of the technical question that is listed in the title of this video.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
You guys are obviously in the Chicagoland area based on your phone number. I'm a locksmith. I grew up in Chicago. I'm in Northwest Arkansas. And I've got a Matic 1490 concealed vertical rods. I cannot figure out how to adjust the bottom rod. I've been doing this 35 years.
Well, I think it would just be a trip to the Matic site for the installation instructions.
I just didn't know if you by chance know. I was trying to look it up, but it was sort of kind of a pain in the butt, you know, doing it off your phone. I just didn't know. I happened to see one of your guys' YouTube videos, so I thought I would just call and see if you might have a simple answer on that.
Adjust the bottom rod. What is it doing now that?
It's dragging just a hair because of the warmer weather. The ground foundation's got a little hotter out here. So the ground has risen just a hair on the threshold, causing the door rod to drag just a hair, maybe eighth of an inch, quarter of an inch, somewhere in that range. And, you know, older rods used to be able to take a couple screws at the bottom, take the little nylon or metal box out, and you would just roll the rod up. You know what I mean? And just turn it in a few turns because it was threaded, then put the box back in to hold it in place so it wouldn't rotate. This one doesn't. This one's got some sort of whole spring assembly tied inside it.
And you're dealing with a concealed vertical rod.
Concealed vertical rod, Matic 1490.
Yeah, I mean, there's a rod going from the bottom latch to the chassis that moves up and down. I would consider, doing what you described, rotating that slightly.
Yeah, it wouldn't rotate the box. The box that is part of the assembly on this device is completely different than anything I've seen. This door is only maybe 4 or 5 years old.
Huh.
And so I've never had to break one of these down, and I'm like, what the heck? This can't be that hard. And then if you even go to take the bar off, 2 of the screws go all the way through, and there's nothing more than almost about the size of a Sharpie that's maybe an inch long that comes out of there. So when you push the bar, it's got a cam that just kind of lifts it up. But unlike a lot of the other bars that we've seen, this is completely different. I've never seen anything like this.
Huh. Well, what you're describing sounds like a 1490, but looking at the installation instructions, there's no reference at all to how to adjust, the bottom rod. Changing, how much that bottom bolt is, in what position it's in, when it's secured. But you really can't affect change on that bottom latch because it needs to be either retracted or fully extended. So modifying that bottom rod is not going to solve the problem. It sounds like there's a problem with the latch bolt.
The latch bolt on the top?
No, the bottom.
Like another
latch. The bolt on the bottom. I mean, it not retracting all the way. Yeah, I would be pretty tempted to try to, unscrew the 2 screws that hold the bottom bolt assembly on. I would be looking to draw that rod up a couple of turns, reattach, and see what happens.
Right. Well, and see, that was my intended goal, was to do that, but I couldn't figure out how to explain this. The bolt work based on that, it's in kind of a block cavity. I couldn't see it completely, but I mean, when I undid the 2 screws, and of course it came loose, I go to reach in there, and it's all spring-loaded around that bolt to help either to help shoot it down or assist it up. But, we're normally, like on many other doors you've probably worked on and seen and what have you, you typically just have something like a nylon spacer or something you slide out. And then once it comes down, you just adjust the bolts a couple times like we were talking about. This thing is all encompassed, and it won't rotate with inside the 1 and 3 thick aluminum door.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's nothing serviceable on the bottom latch assembly for the 1490. That whole latch assembly would have to be replaced. But there is a coupler above the latch assembly with a nut that you could put. You wouldn't rotate the body itself. You would rotate the rod that's going from what is called the lift bracket assembly, and it's got a yoke on it, and that's when you hit the device, the cam moves, the lift bracket assembly moves, the rods get pulled in. So you definitely need to pull the device off and not work at only the bottom latch. You might need to loosen the nut holding the rod into the bottom latch to get that to thread or to turn. So I might try to turn that clockwise a couple of revolutions and see what happens.
Okay. All right. I appreciate it. All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I sound like I mucked that up a lot. You want me to send you a link to, what happens with Matic is the installation instructions are okay, but they're, they should be written by someone who's in the field.
Right.
They're not. So
right,
I
they're
can
written by
send you
the
the part.
engineer who designed it.
Yeah. So do you want me to email you the exploded parts drawing for this, and you'll kind of see what I just was mumbling through?
Absolutely. I would love to, if you could. Yeah, that'd be wonderful.
Sure.
e@icloud.com.
What part of Chicago are you from?
I grew up on the northwest side of Chicago, Fullerton, Narragansett area by a park called Reese Park.
No shit.
Yeah, and I
How
live
old
by
are you?
Reese Park. I'm 52.
So I grew up at 6337 West Newport, and I'm 50 years old. I went to Thorpe, just north of Addison, and I grew up going to the Brickyard. I remember when it was a dirt grass lot.
Yeah, when it was a dirt pile, and then they built a brickyard on that dirt pile, and the whole foundation slowly gave way over the years.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, we used to go fishing in Reese Park Lagoon all the time.
Yeah, of course.
And and then from what I hear, they filled, with the neighborhood change, they had to fill it in with concrete. Too many bodies were being found.
Yeah, that neighborhood was even sketchy in the late 70s when I was running through there on my, my BMX bike with my buddies.
It was slowly changing, and what have you. And then my parents retired out here in Arkansas back in '94, and I and my sisters and the rest of the clan more or less moved out here in early 2000.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it out here in northwest Arkansas. It's warmer, it's nicer. You're not having to dodge all the bullets walking around the neighborhood now.
Man, taxes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
What you guys pay in property taxes, my friend's just about crap. We pay for a $200,000 home out here, nice home. A lot more home than you'll get out for $200,000 out there. We pay $500 a year in property tax.
Yeah, I left Illinois in 2017. I've been living in very red state Florida for the last 3 years.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Illinois can have all that.
Exactly. They can keep. The only thing I miss is the food.
Yeah, that's true. Obviously you're not going to get, Lou Malnati's or whatever pizza you like there.
Right.
But, it's, you're only sending in, you're sending in a lot less taxation, when you remit that stuff. So what grammar school did you go to?
I went to a private school. Originally started at Burbank, which was a couple streets down. I can't think exactly where it was, but there was a Joseph Lumber near my school in the area there, and I went to Burbank, and then my parents, because my dad was a Chicago cop and also worked at public school systems as security, he put us in private school, so I ended up graduating a real small school called Trinity Lutheran, and then high school I graduated from Luther North, which was off of Irving and Berteau area.
Yeah, so when in '83, when Washington got elected, we moved to Norridge. Luther North would have been my high school. So it's a small world.
That it is. The Luther North is no longer. They shut their doors a couple years ago.
Yeah.
They didn't make it with the whole whatever. you know. But anyway, man, I appreciate it. Did you send it off to me?
I've already
All right,
done it.
thank you very
Your
much.
phone. I'll talk to you later.
Okay, thanks, man.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Architectural Builders Supply hopes you have enjoyed this program. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.